morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, and how do you do? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? Good morning, and how do you do? Today is Thursday, March 26th. I have a friend today, Mr. Bat. Good morning, Mr. Bat. Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Bat's telling me something. He says bats are very misunderstood, very gentle creatures, and very beneficial pollinators. Bats only come out at night. They're nocturnal, he says. They're not intended to scare anyone. And they talk to each other through echolocation or biosonar. They make sounds and use their voice to navigate and find their way around. This also helps them to talk to one another. They drink nectar too, he says, from flowers, some cacti flowers, like the saguaro. And they eat small insects, he says. Oh, you eat moths? That fly at night too. Let's learn about bats today. Bats are not scary. They are nocturnal and fast. We need them to drink. Bats are not scary. That's 5. They are nocturnal and fast. 7. We need them to drink. 5 claps. I wrote a haiku about bats. Haiku is a special kind of poem. It has 5 syllables first. That's the 5 claps. 7 syllables next. 7 claps. And 5 syllables at the end. A haiku has 17 syllables total. They're simple and beautiful. Hundreds of years ago, Japanese poets invented the haiku, a form of poetry very different from styles used by English writers. Traditional haikus describe a single image, like a bat, that makes us think about nature. And the images described in haikus are meant to bring to mind a certain season and remind us of the special feelings that accompany that time of year. Haikus were made famous by 3 Japanese poets born in the 16th and 17th centuries: Matsuo Basho, Yosabusa, and Kobayashi Issa. Each wrote in their own native Japanese about nature and seasons. This is a great book. A Child's Introduction to Poetry. I like using this book. Bats are not insects, are they? They have warm blood. They have fur on their bodies or hair. And they do not lay eggs. They have a live birth, and their bat babies drink milk to get nourishment from their mothers. Bats are mammals. Bats are such special pollinators. I have posted a special video for you to watch about bats pollinating our cacti at night, because so many of the pollinators are awake and flying during the day. They are one of the very few pollinators that are awake to pollinate the special flowers that only bloom at night while we're asleep. Bats do lots of work for us at night. I have another picture to show you of a big brown bat. And a few facts. While some mammals can glide from tree to tree, bats are the only ones that truly fly. Big brown bats are one of the fastest bats. They can fly at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour. Big brown bats eat flying insects, including beetles, moths, flies, and wasps. They live in North America, Central America, the northern part of South America, and the Caribbean islands. Only special bats pollinate flowers. I wonder if those are some of the same bats that live in Austin. Do you know, I was visiting a special bridge and I saw so many bats sleeping underneath the bridge. That was on Congress Street. Have you been there? There is such a large colony of bats that live in Austin. I wonder which species. I wonder how many. Do you know? That'll be a part of our learning today. Those are some of the questions I've asked you to find with your mom and dad. The book I want to read you is called Bugs for Lunch. There's some bats in here too. It's by Marjorie Facklum and illustrated by Sylvia Long. I love her illustrations. There were some in our Butterflies Patient book. It's the same woman who made these. Bugs for Lunch. If your lunch was a bug, who could you be? Maybe a nuthatch at work in a tree. Or maybe a spider trapping a fly. Or a bat catching bugs as it cruises the sky. You might be a gecko. Or maybe a mouse eating the insects in somebody's house. You might be a shrew, not just eating lunch, but snacking all day on bugs by the bunch. You could be a toad, zapping a fly with a flip of the tongue in the blink of an eye. Or maybe a mantis, ready to prey on any size insect that happens its way. You might be a trout at home in a brook, looking for insects that aren't on a hook. You could be a bear searching for honey, but finding that bees taste just as yummy. Or maybe an aardvark whose tongue, long and sticky, slurps termites and ants that others think icky. You could be a plant that can't chase a fly, but sits and waits for its food to drop by. That's a Venus flytrap. If your lunch was a bug, you might just be you, munching on insects as some people do. Bats fly from their roost to look for food as the sun goes down, but even in total darkness, they can catch insects. Bats send out a constant stream of sounds that are pitched so high that people cannot hear them. As these sounds hit objects, they echo back to the bat. When an insect flies across this stream of sound, the bat can tell exactly where the bug is and swoop down to catch it at night. Have fun learning about bats today. I'll see you tomorrow, my friends.